He couldn't possibly cross fingers against all foreseeable disasters. There weren't enough fingers, or toes either. But it was good that so far the schedule had held. He went downstairs. Major Holt was pacing up and down the living room of his quarters. Electric lights burned, but already the windows were brightening. Joe straightened up and tried to look casual. Strictly speaking, Major Holt was a family friend who happened also to be security officer here, in charge of protecting what went on in the giant construction shed. He'd had a sufficiently difficult time of it in the past, and the difficulties might keep on in the future. He was also the ranking officer here, and consequently the immediate boss of Joe's enterprise. Today's affair was still highly precarious. The whole thing was controversial and uncertain, and might spoil the career of somebody with stars on his collar if it should fail. So nobody in the high brass wanted the responsibility. If everything went well, somebody suitable would take credit and the bows. Meanwhile, Major Holt was boss by default. He looked sharply at Joe. "Morning." "Good morning, sir," said Joe. Major Holt's daughter Sally had a sort of understanding with Joe, but the Major hadn't the knack of cordiality, and nobody felt too much at ease with him. Besides, Joe was wearing a uniform for the first time this morning. There were only 8 such uniforms in the world so far. It was black whipcord, with an Eisenhower jacket, narrow silver braid on the collar and cuffs, and a silver rocket for a badge, where a plane pilot wears his wings. It was strictly practical. Against accidental catchings in machinery, the trousers were narrow and tucked into 10-inch soft leather boots, and the wide leather belt had flat loops for the attachment of special equipment. Its width was a brace against the strains of acceleration. Sally had had much to do with its design. But it hadn't been decided by the Pentagon whether the space exploration project would be taken over by the Army or the Navy or the Air Corps, so Joe wore no insignia of rank. Technically, he was still a civilian. The deep-toned noise to the south had become a howl, sweeping closer and trailed by other howlings. "The pushpots are on the way over, as you can hear," said the Major detachedly in the curious light of daybreak and electric bulbs together. "Your crew is up and about. So far, there seems to be no hitch. You're feeling all right for the attempt today?" "If you want the truth, sir, I'd feel better with about 10 years' practical experience behind me. But my gang and myself, we've had all the training we can get without an actual takeoff. We're the best trained crew to try it. I think we'll manage." "I see," said the Major. "You'll do your best." "We may have to do better than that," admitted Joe wryly. "True enough, you may." The Major paused. "You're well aware that there are, people who do not altogether like the idea of the United States possessing an artificial satellite of Earth." "I ought to know it," admitted Joe. The Earth's second man-constructed moon, out in space for just 6 weeks now, didn't seem nowadays like the bitterly contested achievement it actually was. From Earth, it was merely a tiny speck of light in the sky, identifiable for what it was only because it moved so swiftly and serenely from the sunset toward the east, or from the night's darkness into the dawn light. But it had been fought bitterly before it was launched. It was first proposed to the United Nations, but even discussion in the Council was vetoed. So the United States had built it alone. Yet the nations which objected to it as an international project liked it even less as a national one, and they'd done what they could to wreck it. The building of the great steel hull, now out there in emptiness, had been fought more bitterly by more ruthless and more highly trained saboteurs than any other enterprise in history. There had been 2 attempts to blast it with atomic bombs.